Can a woman truly feel safe in her workplace when the law offers no direct protection against sexual harassment? This question was at the heart of a landmark case in India, Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan, decided by the Supreme Court in 1997. The story begins in 1992 with Banwari Devi, a grassroots worker in Rajasthan. She was dedicated to stopping child marriages in her village. In retaliation for her efforts, she was gang-raped by 5 men from a dominant caste. Despite bravely filing a police report, she faced indifference and delays from the authorities. The criminal justice system failed her, and the accused were acquitted due to a lack of evidence. This shocking miscarriage of justice ignited a movement among women's rights organizations, collectively known as Vishaka, who approached the Supreme Court seeking justice. They filed a public interest litigation under Article 32 of the Constitution, arguing for the enforcement of fundamental rights for working women to live and work with dignity. The case raised crucial legal questions. Does sexual harassment at the workplace violate fundamental rights under Articles 14, 15, and 21 of the Indian Constitution? In the absence of specific laws, can the Supreme Court establish enforceable guidelines based on international conventions? And what responsibilities do employers have in ensuring a safe working environment for women? The petitioners argued that the lack of legal safeguards against sexual harassment was a denial of women's fundamental rights, particularly the right to equality and the right to life and personal liberty. They pointed to India's international obligations under the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, or CEDAW, which India had ratified. They urged the court to step in where the legislature had remained silent. Interestingly, the government respondents, including the Union of India and the state of Rajasthan, did not contest the need for such guidelines, leaving it to the court's discretion. The Supreme Court, led by Chief Justice J.S. Verma, delivered a unanimous and progressive judgment. The court recognized that sexual harassment at the workplace is a direct violation of the rights to equality, non-discrimination, and dignity. In a bold move, the court invoked Article 51C of the Constitution, which directs the state to respect international law and treaty obligations. Since Parliament had not yet enacted a law to address this issue, the court asserted its power to use international conventions like CEDAW to formulate binding guidelines. Thus, the Vishaka Guidelines were born. These guidelines included a broad definition of sexual harassment, mandatory creation of complaints committees in every workplace, obligations for employers to prevent harassment, conduct awareness programs, and ensure confidentiality during inquiries. They also established clear timelines for complaints and redressal procedures. The impact of the Vishaka judgment was profound. It marked a turning point in Indian constitutional and gender jurisprudence, formally recognizing sexual harassment as a violation of fundamental rights. These guidelines served as binding law for over 16 years until the Sexual Harassment of Women at Workplace Act was passed in 2013. The Vishaka case set a powerful precedent for using international conventions in Indian courts when domestic legislation is lacking. It reinforced the doctrine of positive obligations of the state, meaning the government must take proactive steps to protect fundamental rights, not just refrain from violating them. In essence, Vishaka versus State of Rajasthan is one of the most significant feminist and constitutional judgments in Indian legal history. It affirmed the right of women to work with dignity, respect, and safety, compelling institutions to take responsibility where silence had previously prevailed.